So I'm going to start out by showing you a little bit of my portfolio, which took me like 3.5 months to make, and just go through some of the thought process behind it. Started out, I was trying to figure out what size I wanted it to be. That's something you have to start with, because everything else flows from that. And I realized that everyone who's viewing this for all my applications are going to be viewing it on a computer. So I started with a 1080 frame, which is standard size for an HD computer screen. And then I spent nearly a week and a half trying to figure out what kinds of things don't bore people. Because I'd much rather someone hate my work than be bored by it. If it's boring, then it's eliciting no reaction at all, and that's just, ew, gross. So I thought, what are things that people stare at over and over and over again and don't get bored of? It took me a while, and eventually I realized posters. As a kid, you hang one up in your bedroom, and it's the same poster, year after year after year, maybe you add another one later on, but you don't get tired of it. So then I designed all my slides, all my pages for the presentation as if each one was a poster. And then I started off with just this one, giving them a basic idea of kind of who I am, some of the attributes which I have given myself, and then your name. Name is important. When you see Chanel, you see those double C's, you got the Gucci pattern and all that stuff. Name is huge. You have to have your name on everything. Branding is essential. And the name is on every slide, every page of my presentation. And I think that's important. It's rather boldly sized too. Plus, if they're interested, if they're like, oh, this guy doesn't look that bad, you can look me up. My website, my Instagram, everything has my name. It's all the same name, very easy to find from that. First page of my portfolio, open up by showing them like a lot of things all at once, but in a very neat and organized way. You have a grid, you have things that break that grid, you have some text. The text isn't really that important. Text is sort of used as a decoration, which I think is good. They don't want to have to read a bunch of stuff, especially right away. And then my name boldly put at the top. Throw a year on there so people know like how relevant your work is. Maybe put like where you were studying for it, or like what organization you were involved with in making it. I'm not going to go into like the projects themselves since those aren't relevant to most of you. You can ask me if you're interested in anything later. I'm just going to go through more like the stylistic thought process behind it. And then I just want to zoom into some of those. They don't need to see details on everything. They don't need to know the full extent of the process, how much I spent on all these clothes and all this stuff. They just need to have a general idea and some of the theme through all of these. So I picked these 3 photos and pulled them out because of the connection through the eyes in them. These are all just friends of mine that I shot. But they had a really strong connection and interpersonal relationship, which you can see between these photos. So that's why I picked them. They had a really nice color scheme too, working together. At this page, I actually just redid last night as I submit one last school to it today. And it shows some of the contests that I won, sort of the graphic portfolio. I don't have to show them every single graphic I've ever designed, to show them one and the power of it. And reusing the same graphic in multiple ways at different scales, gives them a different feeling for each thing. So even if this is really all I had was just this one strip, and it's hard to fill a page with just one strip, but you resize it, you cut it up, you throw it in multiple ways, throw it in big, throw it in small, and this kind of just has an overall like stylistic feel of displaying it in multiple ways. This one is a couple of films that I've made. The first one is one of my proudest accomplishments. Is published in Teen Vogue my second year. And the second one is a video that I made for Imagine Gardens, and you can't play them right now, but it just shows them some of the power of some of the work that I can do, and throwing in different colors, throwing in the same like general feel of things, but doing it in different ways. So here it's like overlaid on top, there it's next to it, but it still has the same general feel and the same proportions. And going on, just another film that I made. Again, you can't watch the film, but you get the general feeling of it through the colors, through the slides that I've chosen, and just the overall text, my name big on every slide. Another project that I did for architecture. And again, you don't have to go in and know every single detail and the thought process behind all of it. You can just get the general feeling of the work through it. And by the color choice, you get a feeling of who I am. Since they're not buying this, they're not actually caring about what the actual project was. They're trying to get a general feel of who you are and what your work stands for. And so I think that's what is displayed most boldly through this. This is my first project at architecture school, my first final project. Displaying text of different sizes helps you see a hierarchy. That was one thing going through some of the projects grading them, is there wasn't always a general hierarchy, and so people don't always know like what to read first. But by sizing things in different ways, the small text up top, if they really are interested about the project, they can read it. But if they just have have 30 seconds to look at it or 6 seconds. They just read the general large things, and that's all they need to know. We live in very quick world. Vines are 6 seconds. Instagram videos are maximum 15 seconds. They tend to be very quick. So if you have a general hierarchy, large text, and then smaller text down below, you capture them with that big stuff, and if they're interested, they'll read the small stuff too. But if they're not, they at least generally know what your project's about. There's no way you can fully understand what the project is by the general reaction, but it's kind of the visual feel of it. I wrote a program which algorithmically models the shoe sole depending on the dimensions of your foot. These are some of just that artifacts from that. It has a really beautiful color, I think. I did some work for a TV show in London, and these are graphics that I designed for it, and I pulled out, when you have in Photoshop, there's like gray and white graded background. So I referenced that in the back of here. When you're working with people that are within a similar field, like they're gonna recognize some of these like little inside jokes or whatever. So even if you're working on government or biology or whatever it is, like whatever it is that inside thing in your field, that you can use those to your advantage to create some kind of connection with the people that are viewing your work. And the table I made, showing you some of the visuals, different ways of displaying similar information. These aren't templates, these aren't showing you the exact same thing on every slide, the same photos in the same places, but they have the same feel as you go through it. And there's different ways that you create rules and then you break those rules a little bit on each slide in a different way. One thing that I think is really powerful is when you can display information indirectly. So I don't have to tell them in big text across the top that I've traveled a lot. I can show them photos of different places I've been and then just have the location below it, and they can quite easily infer that I've traveled a lot without having to broadcast it directly. So if your work can create that sort of inference in it, I think that can be really powerful. So in my most recent project, I've challenged myself to do one fashion project a week to make or DIY one piece of clothing. And so these are the first 3 weeks, 3 weeks of the semester. When I first started doing graphic design 6 years ago, I knew that I sucked. And so how to not suck was just by doing it more. And so I challenged myself at that time to enter one design contest every day for 30 days, which was a lot, but I got so much better after a month, and I actually carried it on for like 45 days. And I didn't win any of them, but that wasn't the point of it. The point was to make and produce a lot of work, and each time you make something, you learn something. So I would definitely recommend finding whatever that is that you're struggling at, whatever it is you want to get better. Maybe that's poetry, maybe you write a poem every week. I don't know what that looks like for you, but challenging yourself, pushing yourself in these ways, making those little rules for yourself. Going back, you can see through each one, I started out with these squares. So here there's no squares, here's tiny squares, larger squares, more, larger, larger, larger. Different little things that you can put in your project that help you create those rules yourself. I bet no one looking at it will ever realize that that progression is there, but I realized it, and that's how it helped me to figure out what the next page is supposed to look like. Starting the blank page is the most difficult thing that you can probably do in design, but if you create these like little thought patterns in your head of where am I coming from, where am I going to, and how can I fill that space in between, that can help you write your project. Your hand drawings, I got a C- in this class, still very salty. And then finishing up with just an end title to give them just a little bit more of who I am. And I think overall, then I wanted to go and talk a little bit about how I started.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think Instagram is super powerful. It's cool these days to be like, social media is bad. We can't get rid of social media, it's here to stay. So I think we need to learn how to use it for good instead of trying to fight it. And when I started with design, I wasn't coming up with good stuff on my own. It was all about copying other people and figuring out how to do their work better. The first graphic I ever designed, I actually won a contest with it. It's I've only won 2 contests ever. The first one was the very first thing I ever made. And it was because I was in this class, a graphic design class, my junior year of high school, and they wanted, it's a dog walking company. They wanted a logo, and so we designed it as a class. And they told us like 2 days before it was due, they really liked this one design which had like the silhouette of a house, and they really liked this other design which had like a paw print. And they didn't like mine at all. And I went to the 2 people who made those like, those really good designs. And I said, hey, can I borrow your files? And they were like, sure. And I just made a design which had the silhouette of the house and the paw print. And they loved it. They gave me money for it. And it's the ugliest thing ever. I will not be showing you it. It's hideous. But learning how to combine people's work and make two things that already exist together is, I think, the best way to start. Because you're not going to be able to come up with some brilliant, never-before-seen design on your first try. You have to take work that already exists and make it better, tweak it, and then eventually you'll find your own voice and be able to create new original content. So I think Instagram is a powerful way to find those people that exist out there. And there's a lot of crazy things going on. I wanted to show you my feed a little bit. It's really big on this screen. I only have a few posts. I just recently redid my Instagram. But I think the most important thing from this is to find people that inspire you, and then find who they're following. And so go to my Instagram and then go through and find all these people and see what of them looks interesting to you. And there might be something that sparks an interest in you. And I have a whole group of people that are creative people that I'll send stuff to when I find something really interesting. So if that interests you, you can just DM me and be like, send me cool stuff too. And I'll add you to that. And I think there's a lot of power in sending each other stuff. Because we each have these different pockets of the world which we're attuned to. There's a lot of things I know about that you don't, and vice versa. So when you're finding these things and sending them to each other, you're able to inspire each other in really interesting ways. So that's what's going on in my life. That's where I'm at. Do you have any questions?
Questions?